I'm wondering if, like, do you think for the end of the video I could get like a aesthetic bong hit, not my naked ass hands, or maybe I could put this in the beginning so that it like catches people's attention? Because in YouTube, you gotta fucking hey, watch my video, hey, watch my video. Okay,
All kids out of the pool for Adult Swim. All kids out. Adult Swim. All kids out of the pool.
Okay. Hello. Welcome to my first ever Sparked Up interview. I am recording an intro in post-production because I realized very late that we never did any intro. I never really properly introduced her. She never introduced herself because by the time I was recording, we were already like kind of just shooting the shit. So it didn't naturally happen. I wasn't really thinking of it. Whatever. But I'm also here to add a very quick disclaimer to the video. I will not be discussing any previous discourse or drama in this interview. The harassment campaign against Hushy has been going on for nearly a decade at this point, and honestly, neither of us were very interested, had any desire to discuss something that has been beat to death. So if you are here for drama slop content, I'm sorry, that is not what I am here to give you. Hushy Forlong is a video game dev, musician, comic artist, and writer who became a prominent figurehead in the furry electronic music scene. Over the course of the last 12 or 13 years, she has released over 75 albums and EPs over various aliases, such as Forlong, obviously, Blueberry Sunshine, Gay on Jane, Yo-Yo Bingo, Amaryllis, P9, and way more. For a brief period, Hushy was residing in Seattle and found herself amongst the Seattle Sparkle Dog scene. I'm doing quotes, but I'm wearing the pause. But currently, Hushy resides in her home state of Maine, where she is mainly focusing on working on her game Lungverse. Now that we have a pretty good baseline introductory to Forlong, we can get into the meat of the interview. I have these sorted into little sections. So the first section is going to be music, and then the second is like comics and game.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Third is just whatevers, and then I have a couple of server questions from the Longverse server.
That's amazing that even still exists. So I'm glad you're bringing it to me because I'm not going there.
I don't blame you. I remember way forever ago. I don't even know if you remember this. What you added me to the Forlong server, the original
I'm sure I
Forlong
did.
Discord. You were like, "Hey, join this."
Well, I was super hyped back then because I was like, everybody's pissed at me. Like, I need homies for sure. Like, and then everybody who like was drawn toward me was just like the craziest motherfucker on earth, and I was like, maybe I need slightly less of.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Probably should turn the mic on before we keep talking about
I think it's recording. Yeah. What? Okay. Here we go. Yeah. Sorry. A lot of RAWRDCORD albums have underlying Lungverse lore to them. Is there any album you know with retconned or no longer canon, like to the game? I guess Lungverse lore.
Yeah, it's tough to say because the game is still in a. Well, I tried at first to like. I have an English degree, so my first instinct when starting to make a game was going to be like, okay, I'm going to write an outline for the plot, and I'm going to have the story move in this way. And like I thought about it, and I needed to do that, and I kept going, thinking, you know, I got to plot the whole thing out, and then do it. You know, it's good to always know what you're doing. Like when you wake up in the morning, it's good to look at your calendar and be like, I'm doing this today. Like it deletes that paralysis, you know. But like it got to the point where like I became so interested in so many things at the same time while I was making this game that I was like, you know, actually I'm just going to approach it sort of the same way that I approach music, and I'm just going to fucking wing it and it's going to work out. And so that's really how it's been going. And so I've been living in this little 9 foot by 8 foot room at my mom's house for the past year, and I've just literally been like laying horizontal until like Lungverse inspiration strikes me, and then I get out of bed and I like work on the game for like 4 or 5 hours, and then I like lay back down.
You're coughing like.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh my goodness. I love that though. Actually, if I can let me skip a section because I have one down here that I want to ask
go for it.
right away, since we're kind of on the topic. What made you want to move back to Maine, I guess?
What made me want to move back to Maine was like, all right, so how I first moved to Seattle was that I was living with this girl down in Saco. I had moved down there from the Augusta area because I met her on OkCupid, and she was the only, this was 2016 or 2017, and she was the only person I could find identifying as like a lesbian who was interested in trans women. So at that time, that was really what I was looking for. And so she told me she had a place that her like aunt was renting her for super cheap. And so I was like, oh, I can absolutely cover half of that rent. Like let's fucking do it. Like, and so I U-hauled with her like 2 weeks, after knowing her, and it really didn't work out that great. All things considered, but at the same time, I absolutely owe everything to that relationship and that circumstance, because that gave me the time. Like, she had a Goodwill job, and I only had to pay $300 a month to live there. She was covering the other $300 for rent. So I was like, well, finally, like, I can do music for a living, because I've been gaining momentum since then on like Tumblr and Twitter and stuff, and I was like getting to the point where I was making like $300 a month, and I was like, oh my god, like that's money. I've never had that, like outside of like a job where I had to literally go to Walgreens and like kill myself for 8 hours.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, and like, or like move furniture all day. Like, and so I was like, yeah, I can totally handle like paying half of the rent for this place. And like this girl's mother did not believe me at all that I was paying half of the rent with my career. Like, she did not think it was possible that I was like making music on the internet and like making money from it and like paying half of her daughter's rent. And like, so she would come over like every 2 weeks, just like looking for things to like scream at us about. And like, it was a nightmare. But
my boyfriend, I had gotten kicked out at a period. My boyfriend was like, oh, just move in with me and my mom. And I remember he called his mom and was like, Zach's gotta move in with us. And she was like, no. I was like, it's over. It's fucking over.
Yeah. Good call, because that would have been so brutal.
Well, it was.
I bet.
For like I think for 4 months I was there, and every day, like, and I was doing that. I was like housekeeping. So every day I'm going to the nursing home, fucking coming home. And then she's like, why aren't you cleaning my house? I fucking hate you. Oh my god, that was such an explosive.
Yo, fuck that shit.
Fuck that shit. No, yeah,
that's definitely been one of the most complex parts of moving back to Maine, is that like the structure, the family structures of like New England people, especially people who've lived here their whole lives and like have had family who've lived here forever, or just like there's so many weird like, I don't know, stipulations and like unspoken rules and like weird vibes, and like. And moving back here after being in Seattle for 7 years is so crazy, because queer people in Seattle are just like taking ecstasy and like banging each other and like crying and screaming, and like I over here it's like my mom drinks like half of a wine cooler like once a year and like passes out immediately. Like I've had extremely sober parents my whole life, which I'm extremely grateful for, but they're so sheltered because they've never lived anywhere outside of the 6-mile radius in central Maine that they've always lived in. So they can't possibly understand any facet of like my career or my life, the trajectory my life has taken. And I think that this pimple that I popped on my forehead has blood coming out of it.
Oh my god!
But that's fine.
Do you need like a napkin or a tissue?
I think I'm probably fine. Yeah. If anybody notices me, like I'm wearing eyeliner for the first time in years, so if I have eyeliner and blood on my face, like I'm probably like bawling, like, to be honest.
Oh my gosh. You look good, by the way.
Thank you.
You seem happy.
I
You look very
appreciate
happy,
that.
yeah.
I appreciate that. It literally made my day to see you wearing the same pants that you have. That was so great.
I was when I was packing, I was like, should I wear the moon boots? Is there a little overkill?
What color are your moon boots?
Red. They're not
Red.
purple. I know you have
That's
purple ones.
actually dope. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I used to like I had hand-me-down blue ones when I was in Seattle, and then I bought my own black ones, but then I gave those black ones away to another trans girl when she first moved to Seattle and was like, oh my God, raves and moon boots. And I had already been there enough time to figure out that wearing moon boots is actually really impractical and like hurts a lot.
Yup.
And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, take my moon boots. Like, go for it. Like,
They're my like every once in a while, but I was like, I'm walking around a con, I'll just wear my fucking skate shoes.
No,
Whatever.
yeah,
who
for
gives a
sure.
shit?
I love skate shoes. I've been addicted to them since I was like 12.
I want to get a pair of Osiris's, like the classic scene.
That's what I've got.
Are those the ones
That's
over there?
what I have. Where's my shoes?
The red, white, and blue ones?
Yeah.
The ones over there? I swear to they're right there.
Oh yeah,
but they-
these are Osiris's right here.
Oh, dude.
And what's even better is that inside of my Osiris's, I have I have anime girl. I have these.
Wait,
these
can I take a picture of them?
Yes, you can.
That's so
These are
funny.
for like people who can't see on the audio recording. These are insoles which have anime, like sexy anime girls printed on them. But this is an insole that is made of a special material that like NASA uses to like send shipments to like the International Space Station. Like these are like the sickest insoles ever, and like you put them in the oven for like an hour or something, and then like you put them in your shoes and walk around, and then they like fit to the shape of your shit. And like literally I can't joke about the fact that these have literally like tripled the amount of time that I'm allowed to like stand up and walk around.
That's
like,
so
day to day.
awesome.
Like I'd be
That's
nowhere without
so
like
awesome.
Footprint is the brand of insoles.
That's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, I learned about it because I've loved skateboarding my whole life, and I listened to like podcasts of like interviews with professional skateboarders, and they're like, this is like the only thing keeping me from like destroying my body. And I was like, oh, it must be pretty good then, I guess.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome. Oh my god.
Anyway, enough
Yeah.
about. I mean, we could talk about my feet
You're
for hours.
fucking-
My feet are completely different sizes. Look at them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you see how
didn't know
one
that.
is like dramatically smaller than the other. Like this one was turned 90 degrees inward when I was a little kid.
That's insane.
There's like a really cute picture of me actually that's like on my mom's fridge of me when I was a little kid before I got like a brace or anything to like correct it. And like this might be another thing you might need to take a picture of my own phone screen for this. But you can see my foot is turned in
Oh my gosh.
90
Wait, am I
whole
allowed
degrees.
to?
Yeah, go for it.
For the view.
Yeah.
For the viewers.
Yeah.
For the viewers at home.
But yeah, that's me in like 1998 or 9, and
That's
I'm like,
so cool.
yeah,
Like a little
fully
warm-
turned in foot. Like I had to wear a brace on my leg for 10 years to straighten it up.
That's crazy.
Anyway, enough about my feet.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Okay. Was there anyone you wish you could have worked with while you were still producing music? It can be literally anybody.
Well, I love the way that the question is phrased because it implies that I'm not producing music anymore.
I guess maybe I misunderstood that Blue Sky post.
I mean, like I want people to understand that I'm not like a full-time musician anymore, but I don't want people to think that I'm not making music because I am. I'm always making music. I'll probably do it for the rest of my life. But the thing is, like, I made standalone music, like music that is just, an album, like, or a song, like, just out of context. Like that is what it is. It's like only contextualized by like the title of the track and like the album art, etc. Like and the other tracks on the album. But like from now on, when I make music, I want it to be a part of like a bigger thing. Like I want it to be like a multimedia thing. Like I've always had interests in like OCs and animation and video games and all these other things. And like now that I'm finally getting to like branch out and explore like more forms of media like that, like video games is such a cool medium because it's everything at the same time. It's audio and it's visual and like and it's text, and like you can really touch people that way. You can really get to people like through a medium like that. It's like it's enough with just a visual medium or just an audio medium or whatever, but when you combine them. It's like that's why people are so crazy about like movies and stuff. Like there's nothing more hypnotizing to a human being than like a moving picture. And if you get to make the decisions inside of the moving picture, that's the coolest moving picture ever.
It's like a album and a fucking cartoon and a book all in one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then that's like what I'm going for. Like I have all these crazy, like, I don't know. It's like people don't read like books very much anymore, and so I think if I was one of those people who was just like graphomaniacal and just like wrote all the time, even though that's what I have a degree in, I don't think it would appease me. I don't think it would satisfy me, because I know that no one is willing to really put, like, a very few people are willing to put in the effort to consume something like that now. And if I can do that kind of thing, but combine it with like animal characters who are charmingly hand-drawn in my like completely retarded art style that is like totally inconsistent, then like they'll be more willing to read the words that I'm writing. And if they can hear some sounds that, like, you know, are within my vibe or whatever while they're doing it, then that will make sense to them. But it's like, I don't know. I've always loved like stories and writing and characters and personalities specifically. Is like, I love to think about like everything a character has experienced, like, and like how it makes them who they are and how it informs their interactions with other characters and stuff. And like, one of the things I'm most worried about with my game is that it really straddles the line between, like, there's a lot of really fantastical elements and like weird magic shit going on, but also there's a lot of like gravity given to like the real world location that it takes place in, and like the geography and like the general vibe and attitude of like the people who live there, and how like even in a world where like humans don't necessarily exist in the form that we're used to seeing them in, they still have very human problems. Like the anthropomorphism that goes into like a furry character, like I love the feral side of everything. I love that it's there. I love that people are willing, that there is a selection of people who are willing to embrace that and love it for everything that it is. But I am so obsessed with the idea of wrapping furry media into very real human drama that like I have this I've created a big mess for myself where I have to balance all of these fantasy and realism things, and like figuring out how to try and execute that in a graceful way has been like a big part of the challenge, but also a big part of the pleasure of like doing this game that I started in 2024.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, 2024, really?
Yeah, that's when I started.
It feels like you just started, but also that it's been forever.
That's exactly how I feel. That's precisely how I feel about it.
My goodness.
The whole reason it started was because of an incredibly generous individual who is from the Chicago area, who's a big fan of my stuff, and has some sort of swanky tech job or something, was emailing me one day and was like, "I want to give you $50,000." Like, and I was like, okay, like, like for any specific reason or like what? And they're just like, take this 50,000 and do whatever you want with it. And I was like, okay, I'll use it for the budget to make a game. And they're like, okay, like, and I was like, okay, well, give me the 50,000 over the next 3 years in this certain amount so that I don't have to pay a gift tax. Because if you receive randomly a giant amount of money from a person, like, you have to pay a gift tax if it's above a certain amount, depending on what state you live in.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, well, give it to me in installments over these 3 years, and then I won't have to pay a gift tax. And they were like, okay. And they gave me the first payment, and then by the time the second one rolled around, they messaged me and were like, sorry, I was manic when I said that I would do that.
Oh my god.
And so no more money. And I was like, it's okay. You've actually already given me more than anyone has. You know, like, it was a significant amount of money. It was like $1,600, $1,800 or $1,000 or something. And I immediately threw it all at my best friend's medical debt to get him out of the situation he was in, because I was just watching him stress over it all the time, and it was a huge bummer. And like I really just wanted to try and do something about it, and it felt really great to achieve that. And then like I had even a little bit left over to pay like a couple months of rent, but then like I went through that pretty quick. But in the midst of all that, thinking that I had this future financial security, I started making this game.
Oh.
Yes, because I was like, this is what I'm going to do in Seattle for the next 3 years. I'm going to live off this money. I'm going to make this game. I'm going to put it out. I'm going to make all the money back. It's going to be great. And like, that didn't turn out the way that I thought it would, but I'd already started making the game and I didn't want to quit. It became my new primary interest. So I was like, I thought about it and I was like, it's been such a rat race ever since I moved to Seattle. Like I moved 11 times in 7 years.
Fuck.
It sucked.
Yeah.
It was bad. Like I could not find a stable situation for myself despite having such a promising situation, like circumstance there. And so eventually I just, decided, like after 7 years and all this stuff happening, and I want to make this game. I was like, I told my partner at the time, who I love very much and is still like one of my best homies ever, like one of my only homies ever. Like I love him to death, but I was like, I think if I stay here, like the only reason that I stay here would be for you. And he was like, well, I've got my own agenda. Like you shouldn't hang around here for me. Like I've got stuff I want to do here. Like, so if you're feeling like you got to go back home, like, then you should do it. And I was like, well, I really appreciate you, like, being so chill about it. Like that's really nice. And I miss him every day. Like he was my homie for sure. Like, but yeah, it's definitely been a lot easier now that I'm back home, just because like, like my mom was so stoked. Like she was so stoked for me to not only move back in, but to be like, Mom, I have money. I can like help you pay rent. Like she was like, that blew her mind. She was like, she has no idea how the internet helps me give her $500 every month, but she's like, electrically lit up about it, and it makes me really happy, like because the whole time I was like a teenager, I was such a fucking dirtbag and I was so sneaky and I was lying to her constantly, and she was really hurt. And my mother is like a really sweet, innocent woman. Like she's not like I've met some people with some really terrible moms, and like my mom is nothing like them. Like my mom is only naive and sheltered and sweet, and like I love her to death. It doesn't make it any easier to like interact with her on a daily basis and stuff, like, but I've watched her care for two of her relatives all the way through their old age and illness into death, and I'm like, someone's got to do that for her, and none of my siblings have their shit together enough to be that person for her. So like I feel like I've got to be the one to do it, and I think she deserves it. So I feel like being back in Maine is the right thing for me to be doing.
Right. That's so sweet.
Thanks. I'm glad you think so.
I don't know. I guess I work in a nursing home, so like I see these people all the time where they're like, nobody visits me, and I just rot away here, and I'm like, I like go home and I cry sometimes. I'm like, fuck.
I wouldn't be able to handle having your job at all. Like it would every day remind me of the situation that my mom is in, like, and the people she's cared for, and like the lack of it being paid back to her, and like that would rot me mentally every day. Yeah, for sure. Like I commend you for feeling like you can do that, because like that's not easy.
It's really sad, and like sometimes I really feel for these people, just because like I don't know, regardless of circumstances, they got nobody and they're in a nursing home and it's hellish. The food's fucking slop, like I know
enough to keep you alive.
Enough to fucking, it kind of, but it almost drives me to keep going in, where it's like, okay, well, sometimes like these people, like I have certain people where they're like, you make my day every time you come in my room and clean it. Like
That's
I look
wonderful.
forward to just seeing you and
That's
chatting with you. It's a really, it's like a self-fulfilling job. I get paid shit, but I fucking love those people so much.
That's awesome. Like if you can find literally joy in or like any satisfaction in the thing you do for a living, it's invaluably awesome.
Every other job makes me want to scream and shout and let it all out. And this
for
is the only
sure.
one where I'm like, I will literally like get shit all over me every day. I'll also get piss splattered in my face every day. But I love these people. Like, oh my God.
That's awesome. Cause I remember working real jobs. I remember working retail. I remember working food service. I remember working furniture delivery. I don't miss any of that shit. Like, whatsoever. I never felt like I was truly helping anybody. There was no fulfillment there at all. Like just manual labor. Like, so as soon as being self-employed started to work out for me, I like became insanely obsessed with maintaining it, because I was like, I never want to go back. Like,
yeah. Oh my goodness.
I'm just glad, because like I don't, it sucks to say this, but like I don't really vibe with a lot of other like musician type, like self-employed people, which sucks, because like originally I moved to Seattle to try and get closer to some sort of people like that, so that I would have people to relate to and like people to understand me and stuff. And like the personality of other musicians, especially independent ones who aren't part of a band and like don't have like a, you know, like there's a lot of, these days being a musician comes with a lot of ego, like a lot of weird ego fundamentally, because like everything is self-driven these days, where it's like it's your social media account, it's what you're doing, it's your attention, like everything's very individualized. And like I've never been good at working in a group anyway, so that sort of thing makes sense to me. But at the same time, it's like not being able to relate to other people, like to like relationships I've been in, like romantic, sexual, like partner or whatever type relationships, always go sour for me when the other person is not self-employed. Like when they work a regular job, they inevitably become very envious of like what I'm able to do, even though I've suffered immensely to like get where I am and like keep doing what I do. Like they can't understand that, because it hasn't happened to them. And like I don't blame them for that at all, and I don't blame them at all for like feeling stress about going into a 9 to 5 every day, because it's horrible and it sucks, and like I've experienced that. But it inevitably has ended in disaster for me when I date people with normal jobs, because they are like, why can't I be Forlong? And I'm like, you can't be Forlong, because if you were Forlong, you would have killed yourself 4 years ago. Like shit like that.
Yeah. It's I guess like it's same hat, but it's like a little different. Like it's you're dealing with hell at home, but they're dealing with hell at like Wendy's or whatever. It's like a different hell, different version
like
of hell.
Like all hells are legitimate.
Yeah,
they're just
different flavors,
different, and you'll never get to experience another person's individual hell that they go through day to day. It's like you only know your own hell. So
right. Is there any album or song with a funny or fond memory attached?
I mean, like Puppy Lasagna, of course, that's the iconic one that comes to mind immediately. Well, yeah, frankly, the most misunderstood, but I think that goes into just like a lot of telephone game and miscommunication, and just people willing to make like a big drama thing out of nothing. Like, and I get that, like, because for some people that's the only sort of stimulation they have in their life. It's the only thing they turn to, is like, if I can cause a big deal on the internet, like I can feel fulfilled, like because I did something, I made a difference, I changed something, even if it was for the better, for the worse, I don't care. Like, just to know that I've made an impact makes me feel like I exist, and people need that 100%. It sucks that some of the only ways to get it for some people are through causing problems for other people, but I understand it. But yeah, I forgot what I was talking about before that.
Funny song memory.
Oh yeah, the thing about Puppy Lasagna is that Puppy Lasagna is literally just a like collage mashup of like, it's a random old project file I had sitting around, plus a bunch of Telegram audio messages that like a bunch of furries were like sending in a group chat, along with like me and like one of my exes. And I literally made the whole song in like an hour and a half. Like it was one of the things I put the least amount of effort into, and it's one of the things I got the most attention for, which is consistent across, like, if you ask a lot of, internet
I was gonna
content
say, that
creators.
happens so often.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's
I made a video forever ago. I feel like I was posting my art all the time, and I really was like, I wanna be a Sparkle Dog furry. And then I posted a TikTok of me shoving my fist of a Freddy Fazbear pillow pet, and it got 2 million views, and I was so fucking mad. And then, okay, I'm not trying. I might censor the name if I have to. But then one time this is when I got a fursuit, and I started fursuit posting, and someone commented on the Freddy Fazbear video, I just looked at your Twitter and you follow Freak Pet. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I deleted my entire TikTok account. I was like, fuck this. Fuck this Freddy Fazbear video that cursed me.
When I was homeless for like the 3rd time in Seattle, because like a bunch of water leaked into like our walls, like right after we signed a lease with this.
Was that when you did the rent stream?
Yes. That was okay. Because oh wait, no, rent stream was before. It was a few months before. Then we moved out of that apartment and went to the next one. Okay. But what the hell? Why was I talking about rent?
Oh fuck. I said something about following Freak Pet.
Oh yeah, Freak Pet. Yeah. Like Freak Pet was like one of the people who, like, when I didn't have a place to stay, and like for 3 months we were just like ejected from our home, and like our landlord put us in like a bunch of these crappy Airbnbs at first, and then they were like, we're not willing to pay for this anymore. You have to like find friends to stay with. Like we stayed with Freak Pet and a partner for a little bit and had a lot of fun at their house. We definitely got really drunk and high and like hung out, but I'm 100% pro Freak Pet. So if
my fucking keychain,
I'll go on record with that. That's fine.
They drew my persona. I made it a keychain.
Hell yeah. No, they did the album art for the
new Forlong album.
The new Forlong album, yeah, back in 2022 or something like that, and it's one of the best album arts ever of like any of my albums. Like
they did another piece like way back. Where, oh god, I think it's just you and clouds. Like it's 4 in clouds and there's a rainbow. It's like the cutest piece ever. Anyways, I think that's printed it out, and it's hanging up in my apartment.
I think they even did like a couple like pornos of my dog at some point.
They used to draw pretty awesome, all the time. It was so awesome. Yeah. I DM'd them when I was commissioning that, and I was like, can I like make some custom prints and hang them in my house? Like, your art is so fucking awesome. So I have like a big tapestry of the 2 winters kissing. It's like taking my whole fucking wall.
That's like really epic, honestly. Like
my maintenance guy pointed at it, was like, cool, left.
Cool.
Like, okay, man.
Cool maintenance guy, TBH. Like if I was your maintenance guy, I would have said the same thing.
Baller.
Yeah, like cool.
Okay. Odds and Ends for Autumn is an album of nearly lost files. I'm curious if any of these songs were originally intended to be on full albums or EPs at any point.
How music used to work for me, like when I just like touched my mic, I hope I didn't fuck it up, but whatever. How music used to work for me when I first was gaining momentum with it was that I would like wake up and I would be like at college and I would like take Adderall and I would like go to college and like do my college classes, and then between all of my college classes I would like go home and like vigorously like make breakcore, and then I would like go to my classes and then would like come home and like masturbate and then like vigorously make breakcore, like, and that was just like my obsession for that time. And the way that I used to do that a lot was like when I got to the point where I was like had access to like amphetamines daily, and I was like cranking out like 1 song every time I sat at the computer. Like I was releasing like an 8 to 20 track album every single month, which is,
I remember that,
which
like
is
2016.
Crazy. Yeah. And I would never do that now because now it takes me 8 months to make anything. But back then I had so much like new amphetamine and new hormone energy. Like I was freshly transitioning and stuff too, so I was like, my girl power was like maximum. Like it was a lot different for me back then, but now I really have to, before I can even look at the computer and like open the software that like results in productivity, I have to have like a genuine decent idea and like follow through with it. back then I could just impulsively open the software and just go crazy and do anything. And by the end of the day, if I had worked like 5 or 6 hours on that song, I'd be like, it's done. Like, and that would get posted on SoundCloud, and then at the end of the month, it would end up in an album. But the guidepost that I used to use for the vibe of those albums was the art. Like, I would pick a piece of fan art or something like to be the album art, and then I would be like, okay, can I make like 8 to 15 songs that like fit the vibe of what this image looks like? I don't do that anymore, because I don't get like as much fan art as I used to ever since 2018, which is fine because I'm still getting the plays and the views, but I'm just not getting the feedback from normies who are less, not ready to be vulnerable in that way of interacting with me.
Their third eye isn't open, not woke.
Well, yeah, but their first 2 eyes are open, and they're looking at all the people who are about to kick their ass for talking, for like saying that I'm cool, like, and that's, I get it. But yeah, it's like, I don't remember what the question was, but I think the answer I was driving to was like, it used to be driven by the album art, and now it's driven by whenever I feel like I'm inspired and have the drive to create something, I have to act on the impulse or it will just go away.
Okay.
Yeah.
That actually makes sense. Okay. Sorry.
You got nothing to apologize for. It's all good.
Do you have a song of yours that you feel stands out as a favorite in your discography or a least favorite?
I think this question changes like every minute of every day. Like that, my answer to it changes. Like, if this was 2019, I would have said like, "You're Changing Me" is my favorite song like that I've made. But like since then, I don't know if I've like figured out like had a new favorite song. I mean, like "Cry to Survive," I was really it meant a lot to me. I was proud of it because like I made it on a day where I like took a tab of acid, and I like had just moved back into my like basement apartment after like being displaced for 3 months, and like I saw like a big really scary spider like while I was making the song, like the biggest spider I've ever seen, and I was forced to like kill it on acid, and like I had a lot of complicated emotions about that because I was tripping, and I was like, oh, and then like I sat down, and like there is it's funny because I had a Yeti Blue microphone that I used to record all my vocals on, and then like we lived at this apartment complex before that basement apartment where in the trash in the basement where people go to throw their stuff out, I found an exact copy of the same microphone I had, and I brought it back to my apartment and I recorded with it. And it had this horrible sort of hissing feedback sound to it, and I was like, okay, this is why they threw it away. But that's the microphone that I decided to plug in the day that I recorded "Cry to Survive," and that's why in that song in the beginning you can hear this like high-pitched sort of like feedback in the background of the vocals.
Please, why don't you come inside? I'm glad you found the place I hide. This is where I watch the world unfold.
It's because I recorded it with that mic.
That's so cool.
Then when that song was done, I threw that mic away.
You've served your purpose.
Yeah, I was like,
Thank
this works for this song, but I can't make this into like my vibe. Like
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But so it was worth it for that, for sure.
In Blood Orgy, you say, and I quote, "Looking like a Rule 63 Pat Dempsey, Grey's Anatomy actor." What's that about?
It's so awesome that you're asking me this question because it's great. Like, there's a great answer to this question, which is that when I was a kid, my dad would occasionally go to play like poker with his homies, and they used to like make fun of him because they thought that he looked like Patrick Dempsey, but with a crew cut. Like my dad, he does have a lot of similar facial features and like hair color, but he's always had the military style haircut ever since he got out of Desert Storm. Like, and so they wrote with a Sharpie on his change. Like they would play like nickel dime quarter poker, like they wouldn't bet real heavy money. They'd just bet change or whatever just to have fun. And like, so on my dad's change jar that he would always bring to the poker games, they wrote Dempsey on it to label it as his. And I look a lot like my dad. I don't exactly look like Patrick Dempsey, but my dad does, and I look a lot like him. So when I say I'm looking like a Rule 63 Pat Dempsey, I really am saying that I look like me.
That's so funny. What was the process behind picking fan samples circa 2017 through 2019?
That was so much fun. That was so much fun. It was literally just I would feel like I had exhausted the potential of like a bunch of my samples, and I would just make a post on every website that was like, email me an MP3 or like a Vocaroo link or like a whatever, just recording of your voice, like saying whatever, and you're listening to Forlong or like something like that. And like every time I did that, I always got so many awesome emails, and I always tried to use as many of them as I possibly could. And honestly, I pretty much did, except for the ones that were like, you know, like outright offensive or whatever, like just trolls. Like they just, I know that they just wanted me to hear the thing they recorded, and like, you know, I didn't acknowledge it, but just the idea that I might have heard it is probably all that they need to be satisfied. So whatever, like, but that was a lot of fun. And like, if I was still like really into like producing music full time, just as standalone music, like I would still be doing that. I would still be posting like, hey, send me like recordings of you, like just like talking about whatever, like, because that's I'm in such a unique position where like my audience is so weirdly niche that like whenever I put out a call like that, I never know what I'm gonna get. Like
it's my nichest flex. I'm like, oh, me and my real life best friend were sampled in Forlong, by the way.
Which one?
I'm in my pre-T voice is in Leather Lace Water Sports. I'm Himbo Cock Destroyer Zechariah.
Oh, yo,
yeah,
that is sick. It's so good to finally meet you.
Yeah,
Himbo Cock Destroyer Zechariah.
Me in the flesh.
That's
and
so sick.
My friend Hannah, who I went to high school with, I introduced her to your music, but she's a Minecraft punching clown activist, and
oh my
I want to be a
God.
puppy and I want to get boned.
That's so good.
That's
one of my favorite
you've
samples.
ever used,
Yeah, I love that one.
It's my favorite.
I love that one.
It's my favorite.
For long. And then like the kicks come in like.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God.
I love that sample. That's awesome. I'm really glad you told me about that.
Originally, when you made the Lapfox cover album Drama, it was an Easter egg on your website hidden away. What was the original response when people found it?
It was conflicted, of course, because like when that came out, it was like 2016, I think, and I was doing it as like I was doing it as like a thing where it's like, I had like a big sense of justice back then because nobody had ever tried to kill me over the internet and stuff. So I was like, it's like, you broke my heart by being problematic, and now I'm going to pirate all of your samples, even though I'm not subscribed to your Patreon where you're giving them away, but I've pirated all of them, and now I'm going to use them to make music, and that's somehow like some sort of event. Like that's how I was framing it to people, but like in reality, I just wanted to like make remixes of Lapfox songs, and and so that's what I did. And I was very excited to like have a friend who was like, I'm subscribed to the Patreon, like I have like 5 gigs of like Lapfox samples if you want them. Like, and I was like, yes, like, and of course, naturally, 2 years after that, like I got called out myself, and like Emma Essex ended up being the first person to send me an email and tell me like, hey, like, you, like, this is typical, you haven't done anything wrong, I assume, like evidence doesn't seem sufficient, and like I just want you to know this is a thing that happens and that you're going to be okay. Like the important thing that she told me is like, this will be over, like there's the other side to this to come out on. And like she didn't keep communicating with me after that, even though I emailed back, but I didn't need her to, and I don't want her to. Like I want her to live her life and be peaceful. But it meant everything to me to hear that, because prior to that, I had only ever been a nuisance to her. I had only ever harassed her. I had only ever been rude to her on her own subreddit. Like I was a jackass, like 100%. And not only to her, but to Squeege Monster. Squeege Monster drew that original album art, which I then live traced in Adobe Illustrator and edited to make into my persona. And like before I moved to Seattle, Squeege Monster like contacted me and was like, hey, like, you know, it's not like, I get your feelings, but like it's not cool to steal art like uncredited. And I was like, you know, you're right. Like, and then when I got to Seattle, Squeege ended up being one of the most compassionate and like emotionally intelligent people that I had ever met out there, and like really taught me a lot about like Squeege is like, you know, 7 to 10, like 7, maybe 7, 8 years older than me. So like getting to Seattle and like already having a person, like a queer person, an accomplished queer person in their 30s, to tell me what was up about being self-employed, living in Seattle, and having this, you know, reputation in this corner of the internet, like it was invaluable to me. Like everything Squeege Monster ever did for me and said to me was crucial to me, like surviving to this day, totally, along with a couple other people out there like Raver Gwen and a few others. And I really am grateful to those people for that. But it's like I've never had more contact with Emma, even though I obviously would have loved to. I don't want to bother her. I never want to bother her. Like now that I kind of feel like half of what she's gone through, like I understand.
Just wanted to step away.
Yeah, I understand wanting to be left alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Actually, I guess on the topic of like the Lap Fox and like the original Lap Fox, on the old Tumblr whatever bullshit. I'm gonna dig in the depths of your brain really quick and ask you if you remember something very, very, very hyper specific. When I was 15 years old on Tumblr, I had a blog that was fully Renard themed, and it was recommended to you, and you screenshotted it and captioned it on Tumblr. Ew. And I got like a bunch of death threats, so I sent you an ask, and I was like, "Hey, I'm 15 and scared. Can you take this post down?" Dude. And you followed me, and you were like, sending me pictures of your Lapbox CD collection. You're like, "I promise I'm chill."
Dude, yeah, I'm so sorry for that. Oh my god, that's so funny. I do vaguely remember that. Like 2014 was like such a fucked up year for like that kind of thing too. Is like I remember like in high school, me and one other person were aware of not only Renard and Lapfox, but furry in general. Like I knew 1.5 like furries who weren't me at my school, and one of them, a fucking like incredible, awesome homie named Coulter, who I think lives in Georgia now doing something, but like he used to live here and like was always in this, like we knew each other since we were kids, like in diapers at daycare, but we'd always like drift apart and then reconnect, and we would randomly be into the same stuff. Like we'd be like in high school reconnecting, it was like, oh, you love like ska music, like me too. Like, and then we drifted apart and came out together. Like, oh, you love like furry and like EDM, like, oh, me too, of course. Like, and then like drifted apart, like, and like, oh, you're into like 2017, like, oh, you're into like growing weed now, like in your bedroom, like, oh, me too, like that's what I'm doing, like, and so like. That dude, I hope he's doing well for sure. But like he was always he came to school one day and was like, I ordered a copy of Jack, like the CD by Negaran, and I had like they sent me 2 copies for no reason. So do you want the other copy? And I was like, yes. Like that's the most amazing thing you could possibly give to me when I'm 17 years old. Like it was incredible to hold that object in my hands. Like it was truly phenomenal. And like
I know how you feel.
Yeah. And it was even crazier when I got to Seattle and Squeege handed me like a cracked plastic CD case of Trauma, the CD.
Oh, I would have shit myself. Oh my god.
That's one of my favorite albums ever. When I listen to that album, I feel like I'm in a totally like white room and I'm sitting in like a little shitty wooden chair, and the music is like a giant fucked up scribble in front of me that's consuming the entire rest of the room, and it's just like staring directly at me, and I'm like trying to look away from it, but it's like it's
there.
it's penetrating me. Yeah, like I love that album. I always have. Like,
I I was on the Lapbox subreddit not too long ago on the trading subreddit just because I really want a copy of Monarch of Deathrave. It's my favorite album M has ever done.
Yeah. I yelled at her for that one too when I was like mad at
on
her
the Reddit.
Yeah, I was like, you're so full of yourself to get this art of you like being a queen, like fuck you. And then I look back like a couple of years later, I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? You're such a fucking asshole.
But I remember someone was like, damn, like these fucking eBay bids, like $500 for the fucking most recent cassette. Yeah. And everyone's like, well, she's not producing CDs no more. She's not doing it. And I was like, and I remember I had commented a couple weeks before, like, looking for Monarch of Deathrave. I have Because Maybe and it was like another compilation album. It's like I think it's really fucked up. Like,
Because Maybe I would have killed another person if you told me that would like enable you to give it to me. Like if you were like murder like a person down the street and I'll give you Because Maybe, I'd be like, okay, well, like which person?
and
like maybe I will.
I was at it's a silly story. I was at work when she was like, I'm dropping this in 15 minutes. And I had an hour left of my shift. And I was like, fuck you. I went to the bathroom and I hid in the bathroom and I was refreshing the Bandcamp page like over and over and over again. It released. I put in my cart. I was putting in my fucking card information and it got sold out immediately. I was pissed. But she was doing 2 separate releases because it was a re-release. So she was doing it in increments. So I think she was aware that it was going to fucking
Dude, yeah, but that album is so incredibly iconic.
Yeah, so I later after work, I'm out in like a Coney Island with my sister, and there's drop number 2. I'm refreshing in the middle of this fucking restaurant. I'm sweating buckets, and I did get it. Obviously, I have the copy. Rad. I remember leaving that restaurant, clicking my heels, like yippee! Like
that's awesome. I'm really good at that, by the way. Clicking my heels, like I can totally do the move where I'm like curve a little bit this way and then hop up and do it. And like, but like I don't do it because like it reveals that like I am in fact like one of the most Caucasian people to ever live.
It reveals that you're like a little leprechaun. You're like really happy.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna flush myself on the toilet.
Was Barbed Wire Dragonfly intended to be the last RAWRDCORD album, or was it up in the air when you were releasing?
It was definitely up in the air. I mean, I could tell that like my stamina was falling, you know, because like I think anybody who was paying active attention could tell that, like, you know, I was slowing down. Like, one album was coming out every year instead of every month. Like, and it really wasn't like Barbary Dragonfly. I don't think is that well produced at all. I think it's actually kind of shitty, and it is because it was all I could manage after moving, you know, 11 times in 7 years, and feeling like, is this going to be the place where I'm finally secure enough to like settle in and like make an album, like a whole one front to back? Like, and I did, but I didn't feel that sense of security. I didn't feel that sense of like, I'm going to still be here later. Like I can take all the time I need to do this or whatever. I was like, I have stable housing now. I have to make something. I have to make something now or I'm going to die. Like, or whatever, like I'm not gonna pay rent or whatever.
You can kind of like, sorry to cut you off. You can kind of tell though. I feel like in some of the lyrics, like when I was listening to it, I'm like, she's burnt the fuck out. Like,
oh no, for sure. Yeah, I was totally burnt out. I was pretty over it, and like, and a lot of people like that album, and I'm glad that they do. But I think it's very far from my best work. Like, and I'm okay with that. It's what I could manage at the time, and it's what I needed to put out during that time, but it's not that great of an album in my opinion. I think the new Forlong album is much better.
Are you willing to say what is officially retconned from Longverse lore when it comes to comics versus the game?
That's definitely gonna change over the next couple of years, however long it takes me to get the game out. I would really like to have a playable demo ready by the end of this year. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm like, I feel like I'm more than halfway there because I have all the assets created. I just have to now write the scenario and program the events to make them take place. And that will probably entail doing a few extra illustrations that I didn't anticipate I would need beforehand. But like what took such a long time for these first few years was drawing everything. Drawing is my weakest skill. Like, I'm really not good at drawing. I have developmental fine motor skill issues. I have ideational dyspraxia, where like repetitive hand tasks, like I'm simultaneously addicted to them and like incompatible with them, which is weird. I love monotonous hand tasks that I can just do for hours, but like I'll zone out and do them, and then I'll look at the thing I've made, and it's completely fucked up. Like it's completely like it's garbage, and I don't know. It's what was the question? Can you remind me?
Are you willing to say what's officially retconned?
Oh, right, the retcons. Yeah, so it'll change a lot between now and when the demo first comes out, and then after that, when the game comes out. Like, I'm going to put out the demo, and then the full game will be about 7 times as long as the demo, because the whole game takes place over the course of a week, and the first demo is going to be the morning and the evening of the first day. Mm-hmm. And I think it will change a lot, because every single day I have a different idea about like my characters and like how they relate to each other, and like how their lives have brought them to where they are, and like why, and stuff like that. And like it goes deep too. It's like I don't want to shy away from like it's like, even though I'm doing this thing where it's like abstracted by furry or whatever, it's like there's like weird stupid fake pseudoscience justification for a lot of the differences in my fiction between the real world and my world. Like, there's a lot of dumb fake science explanation for why people are furries. There's a lot of fake dumb science explanation for like why certain characters exist and why they have the abilities that they're able to have. And like I want to straddle that line so hard of like magical realism, where I want them to live in this world where things have changed. Like, people used to be people and then became animal people through some sort of big event. Mm-hmm. And the scar of being people is still with them. Like, the anthropomorphism that they have is very human, and I want that to like shine through very hard, especially in the context of like the place that I live and that I grew up in. Like, Maine is mm-hmm. like a very weird insular place where people behave very strangely, especially when they know each other for a very long time. And like I want to illustrate stuff like that, and I want to tell it from the perspective of like a little kid who was born out of like a portal to another dimension and is like very smart and very quick to pick things up, but has no context for like why the world is the way it is, or why all these weird people in this weird little community act so strange like toward each other, and like live their lives like the way they do, and like is constantly asking questions and like being reprimanded or pushed away, or given some shitty answer, like, for whatever. And only a couple adults in the game are really like feel trustworthy, or that you can appreciate the information they're giving to you. And a lot of the other ones are just like, you're a little kid and you're witnessing them live out their fucked up weird adult life, and you're just trying to make sense of it, because you're learning everything that happens around you all the time. Like, you're absorbing it, like,
right.
And so it's like my own childhood in a place like this kind of mixed up with like, I don't want to shy away from like, not only are characters in my game like gay and trans, but like they come from ethnic backgrounds. Like, characters in my game will have canon ethnicities, and like they will come from families that are either first or second or third generation like immigrants and stuff. And like, because I grew up around like mixed race people, and then later in life like lived with like this guy from Rwanda for a year, and like and like just meeting people in Maine who aren't white is, well, I guess when I was a kid it was kind of like miraculous. Like, it wasn't very common. Like, I didn't see a lot of people of color until I moved to Seattle, and watching my little sister grow up half Hispanic like, and have dark eyes and dark hair and look different from everybody else, and just seeing the way people treated her and like and stuff like that. And then later growing up and meeting this guy who is fresh from East Africa, like Rwanda, like he won some sort of green card lottery to like come to live in Portland. Like I was living here, I was living in a building called Bayside, which they just renamed it as something else. But it was a place where a lot of East African dudes were living. I guess the city of Portland, through like the general assistance program, was like bringing a lot of guys over for something, and they were getting benefits or something for doing it. But he like, when me and like a couple of my childhood friends like moved into this apartment when I was in college, they were like, we have this other roommate that like you're gonna live with, and he's like fresh from Rwanda, like, and we were like, okay, like, and he was like just the chillest, sweetest dude ever, and he was so stoked to live in America. Like he was so infinitely impressed by every convenience available. Like he was amazed that the toilet could flush and just take your shit away. Like he was like so enamored with America and so into the idea that he could actually just do anything that he wanted here, like compared to where he came from. He was like, he said he was a satellite technician where he came from in Rwanda, and he used to install satellite television for rich people, but he didn't own a pair of shoes until he was 21. Like, and he said half the time when he would come and install the satellites for these guys, half the time they would pay him what he was owed, and half the time they would just beat the shit out of him and tell him to fuck off. Like,
Holy shit.
Yeah, like in such a specialized field like that too.
Yeah.
Like it just like blew my mind that like, you know, it made it very real to me how lucky I am to live here and like to have grown up here, even so sheltered and in such a strange rural place. Like it made me understand that like it's the rest of the world is no joke. Like, so yeah, it ever since I kind of absorbed his stoke to live in America, I've been a little happier to like live here.
Right. Oh my goodness. It really like does just take one person to change your entire fucking perspective on like everything ever.
Absolutely, and that's what I want to put in my game too. It's like I want to take those things that people have shown me about what the world is like, and like I want to do my best as like, you know, a person from like whatever meager position of privilege that I've come up in, like compared to a lot of people. I want to do justice to like the experience of like, it's not easy to live in Maine if you're not exactly like everybody else. And that's what I've witnessed consistently throughout my life, like looking at other people. And like, I want to make that clear in my game, even though my game is a canon where everyone is very drastically genetically different from everybody else, because they're literally animal people. Like,
right.
I want that, like, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a fine line to straddle, and it's going to take a lot of checking myself to make sure that I'm not overstretching like boundaries and stuff.
Right.
But I don't want to ignore it. I don't want to, like, there's a lot of awesome furry media out there. There's a lot of excellent furry games and media and stuff, but I think a lot of people use furry as like in fiction as a means to bypass real questions and problems about like, you know, like race relations and like the fact that everyone is very much human but different and like constantly colliding. It's like, I think that furry is a way to sort of get away from a lot of that, and I think that that's good. There should be a space to sort of try to get away from a lot of the things that the world tortures us with. But at the same time, it's like, I want to make a piece of furry media that acknowledges certain things. Like I want a degree of realism that is not present in a lot of other furry media. So that's kind of what I'm going for.
Yeah. Is there any direct inspiration behind the gameplay or style of the game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an RPG Maker game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using RPG Maker MZ, and I love RPGs, period. But I especially really love RPG Maker games, and like, I laugh with joy every time I see somebody be like, this game looks like shit. What did they make? Did they make this an RPG Maker or something? Like, this game looks like ass. Like, I love that because, like, I know what they're talking about. Every RPG Maker game looks very flat from like a top-down perspective. They're all very similar looking and they're all very mechanically similar. And so I wanted to approach. I've always loved RPG Maker games. I love Ao Oni. I love Toilet in Wonderland. I love Yume Nikki. I love Dot Flow. I love like. There's so many RPG Maker games that are awesome, like that I love so much. I haven't played Omori yet, but I've heard it's really good. Like, and of course there's Off, and Ebe. Like,
oh my god, I forgot Off is RPG Maker.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It was, but then they remade it in Unity. The remake is in Unity, and it confuses the fuck out of me because everything that was impressive about the initial game Off was impressive because they did it in RPG Maker. Like, the fact that they redid it in Unity makes me go like, why? Like, I don't know. But anyway, that's unrelated. But I've always loved RPG Maker, and like to understand that it has the reputation of being the easiest and most accessible game engine for like a person wanting to get into game dev, like was really appealing to me as well, and just was very convenient for me because I had no reason to dislike RPG Maker. I already loved it. Like, a lot of people start with RPG Maker and then they move to, you know, Game Maker or something else because it has more of what they need. But like, I want to make an RPG. I love RPGs. I love turn-based combat. I love 4-directional overworld movement. I love just talking to characters and reading dialogue. Like, I love having to manage a stupid fucked up inventory system that sucks and is not convenient. Like, I love that. I love when you have to do fast menuing in the middle of a battle because there's some sort of timer element. I love all these stupid annoying things that everybody hates, and I am so excited to put them in my game.
Will the comic ever continue, or will your focus primarily be telling the story through the game or games?
It entirely depends on like how my relationship with drawing changes over the next few years, because if I like end up, it's like once I get to the end of this game, or like the end of the rough draft version of it, then I will likely focus on making like a full color version of it, which I'll actually charge money for. I just said charge, like I'm from the Midwest. Charge, but what was the question?
Oh fuck. Will the comic continue, or will your focus be on telling the story?
Yeah, it totally depends on, like, there's one of two things that could happen when I get to the end of the process of making this game, which is my relationship with drawing has been improved tenfold after doing it so much during the game, or I'll be totally sick of drawing and I won't want to do it again. And like, what I honestly feel like might happen is like, if I still have gas for drawing after the game, I feel like maybe I would just start making a second game. I don't know that I would go back to the comic, but I would love. The game will have comic elements. Like, there will be moments in the game that are panel by panel speech bubble interactions between characters, like interstitial like moments like that, because I don't think I can have the same effect 100% through text boxes. I want occasionally a character to have a speech bubble with like a handwritten like fuck or whatever like inside it, you know. Mm-hmm. And stuff like that. So it's like the game's going to be a lot like a comic. Like, the game is sort of an improved version of what the comic was supposed to be, or what I would have loved it to be.
Mm-hmm. Is the game taking place where the comics leave off, or is it starting from square one?
It's so, you know, when like Gage and Mixmax like go to school, right? It's the August before. It's 1 month before that.
Okay.
Yeah. So they go to school at the end of August, and in the last week of August is when this game takes place.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like right before that part of the comics. There will be a couple, like, there are parts in the comics that have like timestamps on them, you know, that's like this month of this year. And I'm going to have to edit and rearrange a couple of those to like make some stuff make sense. But like, if you don't think too hard about it, it'll be fine.
4 was the runt of a litter of 6 sisters and 1 brother. Will any of them appear in the Longverse game?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if that entire statement is canon still, but like 4's only named sibling, Freckles, will be there. Yes. She's confirmed there. She's drawn. She has a design. She works. She has a job. She works at the store, and you can go see her whenever you want. And she is kind of your aunt in the game. So, yeah.
The original concept of Gay Aunt Jane, as seen in Wacky Knife Play Fortress, is incredibly different from her current squirrely gadge self.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the original design? And besides lore, what was the reason for changing her to a squirrel?
Well, her first, like the design of like the crazy, like not, it's not an animal face at all, you know, like a original Gay Aunt Jane face, and it's a project, it's a self-portrait that I did for college when I was in community college at SMCC, which is not very far away from here. I was taking some art classes, and for one of them we were doing self-portraits, and I tried to do like a weird sort of, I was very inspired by like Duchess from Foster's Home. Yeah, and that's why the sideways eye.
Oh,
you know, and so I was really into that and like that vibe, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to make like a fucking disgusting version of myself that's like geometrically uncomfortable, you know, like, and so that was kind of like my approach with that. And then I was really grateful to have saved that image in so many different forms like throughout the years, and like I still have the base assets of like that face, which I'm happy about. But yeah, that was like 2013 or something. I drew that. Yeah.
Wow. Did you always want to turn Longverse into a game, or was that more of a recent development?
I kind of like, I think subconsciously always wanted that. Like I always, like, you know, ever since I was a little kid, like playing video games and stuff, I would be like, oh, like, you know, when you're young, it's like, and honestly, into the age that you're old, you always like look at like your idea of people who create things that you have no idea how to create is always like mystical. Like it's like you're a wizard. Like, so I'd play games and I'd be like, it's amazing that like a human being could make this, or that like a group of human beings could make this. Like, I can't believe this. Like, I'll never be smart enough to do something like this, especially not by myself. Like, but it was always obviously a thing just because like I'd always been playing video games since I was a little kid. Like I was born around the N64 era, but my older cousins got the N64 and I got their Super Nintendo for a hand-me-down. And like, so I just played the hell out of that until I was like 12 and got a GameCube. But like that era of games of like 16-bit, like especially RPGs and stuff, is just like so, I have a lot of love for that in my heart. And the idea that like technology has come so far that there is a piece of software I can use to make a whole RPG all by myself is like a miracle. Like it's amazing. Like, and so I feel really blessed to get to make it into a game. I think I always wanted to make a game, period, but I never had anything to make a game about until I got older and invented these characters and stuff. And then like the opportunity to make a game about them came up, even if I didn't realize it was sort of temporary and like not quite true. Like I changed my life to help it keep being true,
right?
Because I wanted to do it.
I heard you have about 40 minutes of logged play time for Longverse so far. That's last I checked.
That's per playtest.
Oh.
Every time I playtest the game, it takes like 40 minutes.
Oh.
That's how much of it I have now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a general idea of how long you want the game to be?
I want the game to be 7 days long. Not like real world days, but like I want there to be it goes from Sunday to Saturday, and every single day starts with a daytime segment, and then once you feel like you've explored everything within the daytime segment, you can return to your bedroom, use the computer for the rest of the day, then it's nighttime. There's also like a fake operating system where you can move the mouse around on the screen and click on stuff during the time that you're using the computer. But when you decide to log out of the computer, it's now nighttime, and there's a whole different set of events going on between the characters in different locations because it's nighttime. And then, once you go through nighttime, you can go to sleep in your bed and you can wake up and it's the next day. So I have like a little bit of the first day done. I have the skeleton of the nighttime done for the first day. It's actually kind of spooky because there are no characters or events anywhere. It's just the whole map is there and it's dark.
Desolate.
It's nighttime, yeah. And the music changes but I haven't put any characters or events in it, so it's kind of spooky right now. But like I want to jam pack every segment. Like once you go to sleep as well after nighttime, there's a dream segment where the game becomes very much like a Yume Nikki type experience of just like free roaming through weird shit, like until you interact with enough stuff that you end up waking up. Like my idea originally was that like it was going to take a certain amount of time, like from when you go to sleep to when you wake up, like you have 5 minutes to like explore the dream or whatever, and it's just like a giant map where all these weird surreal things are and all these like images of different characters who like you see in your daily life in the game, but like in weird context because it's a dream. And once those 5 minutes are up, you're out of the dream, and then the time that you're allowed to spend in the dream would increase every day, and then the last day there would be no time limit. You can freely explore the whole dream map and you can find everything and whatever. But then that wasn't really working out because I had another idea for the timer function that was conflicting with it, which involves if you leave the house in the morning without going to the bathroom, you will soil yourself. You must use the toilet before leaving the house in the morning. Otherwise, a timer starts, which counts down to you shitting your pants. And the only way to avoid the toilet before leaving the house is to acquire an item, which you can equip, which will prevent you from having accidents. And so I really wanted to have that in my game. So that was conflicting with the timer function for the dream. So I was like, the dream doesn't need a timer function. Only the toilet and diapers need the timer function. So I threw that away and changed to a system where when you interact with a certain number of objects or characters inside of the dream, that's when you wake up. Like, so you have all the time you need to explore, but you have to be selective about what things you interact with. Otherwise you'll wake up, it'll be the next day. You can't go back until the next time you play through the game.
Do you have a favorite skateboard trick? Also, when did you start skateboarding?
That's an awesome question. That's one of the best questions that anyone's ever asked me. I started skateboarding when I was 5 years old, and I started because my older cousin, like I was talking about earlier, how he got the N64, he got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And it had all that awesome music in it, and like I had never seen skateboarding or knew anything about it, so I was so like the game like electrified me. I was so stoked. It gave me so much dopamine and like serotonin, and like I couldn't believe that like a video game would have such good music in it and have such stimulating like stuff going on. And I was like, whoa, skateboarding is really cool. And like when you beat those old Tony Hawk games, it shows you like a little short like video of like actual real world skateboarding at like a reduced frame rate in like a shit resolution, like FMV style. Like, but I like the first time I saw that, I was like, oh, like this is real. Like it's not just in a game. Like that's amazing. Like, and so I got so into skateboarding and like skateboards, and like my oldest aunt, who's really sweet and cool and like survived a brain tumor, like she gave me, like when she figured out that I was like obsessed with skateboarding and like wouldn't shut the fuck up about it, she like dug in her old stuff and she found her little skateboard from like the 80s, and it was like this little have you seen like a penny board?
Yeah,
it's shaped kind of like a penny board, and it's like bright yellow and it had these big red wheels, and like she like handed it to me and was like, this is, I rode a skateboard in the 80s, like,
oh,
here, like this is a skateboard. And I was like, oh, like, and I like immediately brought it outside and like sat down on it on my butt and like pushed around, like tried to stand up on it and stuff, and like fell over, and like I was obsessed. Like for sure. And like, for some reason, my father refused to acknowledge it as like a legitimate physical activity. Like, he always wanted me to still do like sports and shit. He was like, you have to do baseball, you have to do whatever. Like, and even though I was like going out skating in just like in the cul-de-sac or whatever, like every day, like I was trying to ollie over potholes or whatever, like, and I'd come back inside drenched in sweat like, he still was like, you're wasting your time, that's bullshit, like, play a sport, you fag. Like, but I was in love with it, and I was addicted to it, and like, and I still love it, and I always will. It's a lot harder now because I don't have health insurance. Like, I moved to Seattle, and like in Seattle, everyone below the poverty line had health insurance. I mean, when I was living there, that was the case. I think it's a little different now that we're this deep into the Trump administration and stuff. But a lot of the funding for that stuff got cut off during the government shutdown. But it was really nice when I was there, because like every time I did a reckless thing with my body, it was okay to just go to the hospital and get it taken care of. Like, I snapped my penis in half. Like, it was brutal. It like swelled up and got purple, and like, it was really
horrific.
It was really bad.
My God.
Yeah, I was doing it from behind with like my like kind of fat homie, and like slipped out and, you know, hit the ass cheek instead of the hole, and like bent my shit, and like that was a nightmare. That was so scary. They were like, there's like a 50% chance we can like pull it back from this and it'll be fine, or you just like won't have a penis anymore. And I'm like, okay, well, like, I'll learn to adapt to either of those situations, but like, I'm not like really ready for like GRS. Like, I didn't come here for that.
That's so crazy. 1 minute you're hitting your homie from the back, and next your dick is purple and inflamed.
It was nuts. And the thing is, it happened at like 9 p.m. and we were like, we're not going to go to the hospital and be there like overnight. So I like took like 2 Benadryl and like fell asleep, and then woke up with like an inflated purple dick, and was like, we have to go
get out of here now.
Yeah, like 8 a.m. going to urgent care, like, and then got bounced around like 4 different medical facilities like across Seattle. I had to get all these Ubers like to get people to drive me there, like, and I'm like limping into the car, like, and I can't tell them like what's going on with me, like, and yeah, but it was totally paid for. Like, I showed up, they degloved and reconstructed my whole penis to make it functional again, and it cost me $0. Like,
That's pretty awesome.
It's just something that I could have never done in any other state and got away with, like, except maybe Oregon, I don't know, like.
And if we're thinking about it, they said the other option was just completely get rid of it.
Yeah,
you could have just gotten bottom surgery for free.
I could have, yeah, if that's what I wanted, for sure.
Wow.
Like, and like, you know, and the whole time I was there too, my prescriptions were free. I was getting Adderall and estrogen for $0 with my awesome state insurance, and like, I don't think it's always going to be like that, but it was really nice to have that while I was there. But I don't have that here. I don't have any sort of insurance, so skateboarding is kind of really on the back burner for me, because I'm pretty concerned about, like, if I have an injury, I'm just kind of fucked.
Right, yeah. How has life been since leaving Seattle? Do you ever miss it?
There are aspects of it that I miss, for sure. Like, I definitely miss, like, that everyone's gay everywhere. I miss that stuff is within walking distance. Other than that, though, like, I've been really pleased to sort of have an opportunity to get a handle back on my own life and my own feelings and stuff, and really pay attention to like what I need and what I need to do to like be successful and make stuff work for me. Because like a lot of my life, like up to adulthood, has been a lot of like other people around me are having more like pressing needs than so a lot of growing up for me was like trying to help the people immediately around me meet their needs, instead of taking inventory of my own needs and understanding them and trying to figure out what I need to do to meet them and stuff. So a lot of adulthood has been that for me, and like kind of coming back home has been tough in that sense, because my family has always suffered a lot louder than I have, and I'm able to shut myself away from them in my little 9 foot by 8 foot room, but it's like I'm still in this environment that's full of these emotions, and I'm, it's like I'm not about to ask my family to make room for me and my feelings. It's like I'm going to have my private space and my private time to examine those things and acknowledge them and work through them myself, and through whatever means that takes, be it meditation, psychedelics, jacking off, like whatever the hell, pissing yourself, like there's 1,000 ways to move your life forward.
Right. This is like 4 questions in one.
That's fine.
Fave beer, fave cig brand, fave weed strain, indica or sativa. I have to know.
All right. Cigs are out. Lungs as like a route of administration is like finished for me. Like, the only drug worth taking through my lungs at this point, I think, would be DMT, and it's only if it's in vape form, and even then, it's like if I have an opportunity to have some sort of MAOI and like do pharmawaska instead, like I'll eat that DMT. I don't need to smoke it. Like that, I would be happier that way. I've really beat the shit out of my lungs like since I was 18 years old, and I'm really just like kind of sick of it. Like it hurts, it sucks. There are other ways to do drugs. Like you can swallow them, you can put them in your lip, you can put them up your ass. Like there are other ways to get high that hurt a lot less, and like that's what I'm a lot more interested in now. But when I did smoke, I started smoking with Old Golds because that was what everybody in my hometown always smoked, and that's the first brand of cigarettes that my stupid friend who I went to high school with, and then he followed me to college. He the second he turned 18, he showed up with a pack of Old Golds. It's like, dude, like there's the same cigs like my dad used to always smoke, when you would come over and he was always playing World of Warcraft, just like chain smoking at his desk. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, man. And just started smoking with him. So I was on and off, I was between cigs and vaping nicotine for 10 years after that. And I don't fuck with it anymore for sure. Fave beer, I only drink pretty occasionally now. I drank 2 years straight when I was in Seattle, after I figured out that being high on PCP all the time was I wasn't able to do anything. I wasn't able to speak or eat solid food or use the toilet or anything. I was okay, well, I have to be addicted to something, but I can't keep functioning if I'm addicted to this. So I stopped being addicted to dissociatives and started being addicted to alcohol. And that really wasn't that great. I wouldn't do it again. So now I only drink every once in a while, but when I do, I like to have the worst tasting alcohol that is available. I love IPAs. I love disgusting shit like that White Claw Surge. It's horrible because I think alcohol is a bad enough drug that you should be fully conscious of the fact that you are consuming poison when you put it into your body. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in yummy alcohol. I believe that if you are willingly consuming alcohol, you should be 100% aware of the fact that it is just poison. And it's the same thing for a lot of my adulthood has been categorizing things, learning to categorize things in my brain, which supply me with dopamine, under the, putting them, reclassifying them under the label of poison. I need to understand that the lungs as a route of administration is largely poison. The consumption of alcohol is poison. They're downers in general, except for maybe gabapentin or other gabapentinoids, are mostly poison. They will not benefit me in the future if I take them now, stuff like that. So I've had to be really selective about I don't know. I'm less into alcohol, but I know there was cig and then alcohol and then what was it? Weed strain?
Yeah.
That's a thing too. I'm jaded on cannabinoids too. But you know, like I was off weed really well for like 4 months after I moved back, and then the winter hit, and then I got really back into like edibles, and then like eventually into like vaping, and like I got these like Delta 8 vapes from this like website when they were on sale, and like they're like, yeah, just like that, and I vaped all the way through, like they're like 3.5 gram or so 4 gram or something, like vapes, like they have a lot of fluid in them, and I got through like 3.5 of them, and then I was so over vaping, and then my throat and lungs felt so like shit that I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like it's got to be edibles for the rest of my life, or I just have to learn to live without THC. Like this is just enough, because like I've been smoking weed since I was like 15, so I'm just so over it. I want to feel better. I don't want to feel worse. Like I'm just done with that. But my favorite strain when I was really into weed was Super Silver Haze.
I made a post on fucking Blue Sky a couple weeks ago. I was joking. I thought everybody would get that I was joking. I said I was smoking a strain called Scott the Woz that was 99.9%. And I got a DM like 3 days before I left for the con.
Where can I call that?
Literally, yes. They were like, "Hey, Bay, where can I get the Scott the Woz strain?" I said, "Dude, that's not real. That's not fucking real."
Oh my God. Homie, dude, yeah, you know where I can get the Scotty? Like,
I'm smoking the Pingus strain, dude.
You know where I can waz out real quick? Oh, that's nuts.
What made you want to start making games?
Definitely playing games. Like it's just like the more I look at the medium of video games, the more I realize that it's not just like an esoteric sort of like thing that only people who are really good at math and shit can do. Like modern technology's come so far that like people who are not especially adapted to like math and logic and stuff and like programming, like they can still make a game because they can use a tool that does all of that sort of heavy lifting for them. And like that's perfect for me because I'm retarded and I have a very like selective like limited skill set, and I have a thirst for knowledge. I have a hunger for learning new skills and stuff, but like I only have so much time and energy as I get older, you know. And so RPG Maker is perfect for me because it's everything I want. I can tell a story, I can move a character around, I can put as many drawings into it as I want to, and like it can all be turn-based, and that's what I love, because I hate when I have to play a game on the game's time. I love when I'm able to play a game and like play it with one hand while I like eat pizza. I don't know. Like I love when a game won't move forward when I move away from it. Like I can be in the middle of a battle or something and just like go fuck off and do something else, go to the bathroom and like come back and like the battle's still happening and hasn't moved forward because I haven't advanced it. And that's the same reason I love reading books, is because like as opposed to like a movie or something, it moves ahead without you. It doesn't move at your pace. You have to move at its pace, and otherwise you get left behind. You don't know what's going on. You have to rewind, like stuff like that. Like so an RPG is really good for me in that sense, and I want to be able to give that convenience of experience to other people, even though I know a lot of people who are into like the stuff that I do are really like dopamine hungry like people. I unfortunately am not really making a game for that kind of person, but I hope that they will enjoy it nonetheless.
What's your favorite game system, and what's your favorite game for the system?
My favorite is definitely the Super Nintendo. I love the Super Nintendo, and I think it's kind of a played out like answer now for like a person who's like making an RPG. It's like, you know, I don't want to be exactly like Toby Fox or whatever, but like I like it. It's hard to beat Earthbound. Like I love Earthbound. Like
I feel like everyone's like, I love Brother, it changed my life. I'm like, I should probably just fucking play it. Like,
it's just happened to be the first RPG that like instead of having like a fantasy or like sci-fi type setting, it just had like a day-to-day like a Japanese person's interpretation of what America is like as a setting for an RPG, and then with all of these weird sort of surrealist, silly elements in it with very, very charming, well-written dialogue and stuff like that, and these amazing, incredible psychedelic backgrounds during the battles. Like that's one of my favorite things about Earthbound, which just blows my mind every time I play it, and especially every time I play a randomizer, because there are a lot of great randomizers out there for Earthbound now that you can upload an Earthbound ROM to it and it'll totally rearrange the whole way the game is structured and give you all these weird enemies, and like it randomizes the way that the psychedelic like pattern shifting backgrounds during the battles like work, and how they and like that's always like amazed me, the fact that these guys back in like 1994 figured out how to like generate like a really cool visualizer to have on in the background during this like really silly weird RPG, because all these RPGs before it had these like very static backgrounds of just like there's a meadow and the enemy is standing on it and there's some trees in the background and there's like a cloud over there, but like none of it is moving, none of it's doing anything. But like in Earthbound, it's like when you are fighting an opponent, it's like it's you and your characters that you're keeping track of like their health and magic and stuff, and then it's the enemy isolated in front of like this waving, shifting, color changing like psychedelic like background. And like that enchanted me so much when I was like 15. Like I was so into Earthbound and so into the Mother games and so into like posting on Earthbound forums. Like that was my first internet communities, was like posting about Earthbound on the starmen.net Earthbound forums. Like I was so stoked to like watch people like learning how to hack the game and like change it and stuff, and be like, whoa, like wow. Like so I kind of planted the seeds for that kind of thing eventually. And like as like I'm stealing, like Earthbound has a really wonderful, unique system with its health, where in a lot of RPGs there's just like a bar of health or like a number, and it's like once the number hits 0 you're dead. Mm-hmm. But in Earthbound there's a rolling odometer, like the old school way that like cars used to tell you how many miles were on the car. Like it would like analog like crank up a number like one at a time, like, and that's how the health works in Earthbound. And so when you get hit, you have a certain amount of time where you can see your counter is rolling down. Mm-hmm. And like if you're able to use a healing spell or like an item before your health hits 0, you can come back from that lethal hit even though you took lethal damage. Like you have that time while it's ticking down. And I've always thought that that was really cool and fun, and it adds this sort of like excitement to like an otherwise really standard, played out, boring like turn-based system. It gives a sense of urgency, like, oh, like even though like I would have lost this battle in a normal game, like since there's this system, I have time to correct the situation. Like if I'm fast enough at menuing, like I can heal myself, like I can bring it back. Like, and I think that element really always excited me. So I'm stealing that from my RPG. And that required finding a plugin, like some nerd somewhere wrote some JavaScripts to emulate the same system in RPG Maker, but it was broken. Like I found that plugin and I put it in my game and it didn't work correctly, and it was all fucked up, and it took communicating with transgender women on the internet and sending them the JavaScript file and having them correct it and send it back to me over and over again till it worked to make it work. And so I might actually have the first RPG Maker game where this plugin actually works as intended. So I'm very excited about that.
That's so awesome.
And if it works out, then I'll release if I have the creator of the original plugin's permission, I'll put out the corrected version of the plugin. Like I'll give it to him and be like, it's fixed. Like, but my game has to come out first.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. In 2020, during June BLM protests, you were occasionally posting from the front lines of the Chaz.
Yeah.
You also sing about it in Quit While You're Ahead. What was that like?
It was pretty gnarly, honestly. That definitely like changed my life a lot and changed my priorities a lot. Like, when the George Floyd protests specifically started up, it was a time when like, you know, back in high school and stuff, you know, back in 2012 or whatever, I was really, really into like anarchism and like direct action and stuff like that. But I had no opportunities to participate in that kind of thing because I was just out in the middle of nowhere and like I'd just been reading like shit on the internet or whatever. And this opportunity to participate in this actual happening direct action out in Seattle like arose when I was out there, and meeting the people and talking to them that were involved was a really incredible experience, and seeing all these people come together for this one cause, and like it was truly remarkable. And I was convinced that, like, you know, this was the beginning of my generation's summer of love. Like, this was going to be like 2021 was going to be my generation's 1967, is what I thought was going to happen. And it was going to feed into the psychedelic renaissance, and it was going to be like a second 60s, you know, and like that obviously did not end up happening. But that was where my heart was, and that was what I was giving to the effort. And I was put into a lot of uncomfortable situations. I definitely sustained injuries. I definitely watched a lot of other people sustain much worse injuries. I sprayed a lot of antacid mixed with water into a lot of people's eyes, because for a while I was doing the street medic thing. My friend Rob was training me on how to be a street medic, and the tear gas like would obviously really hurt. And if you mix like liquid antacid like with some water and put it in a spray bottle, then you could tap people on the shoulder and turn them around and be like, hold still, I'm gonna fix your eyes, like I know they're burning right now, and like spray it into their eyes. And stuff like that, like bandaging people and whatever. But it got really gnarly, and like it sort of, in Seattle specifically, it shifted sort of away from being the George Floyd protests into being the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, which a lot of people had a lot of really different ideas about. There were people who were trying to appeal to the media and make it the Capitol Hill occupied protest. But it started as the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, and the original idea was that this 6-block radius of the Capitol Hill neighborhood in Seattle was pulling away from the rest of the United States. Like they weren't going to, like, I don't know, like officially become another country or whatever, but the point was that, like, it was an experiment to see if, like, the people of Seattle could care for each other and keep each other in check better than the police could. Like, are the police necessary? Like, that's really what we were trying, or at least what I felt at the time, like what we were trying to get at. There were a lot of people involved, and they all had different motivations and reasons for being there and beliefs about what this could be. But that's the angle I was approaching it from. And I watched a lot of people get hurt. I ended up in a lot of really weird situations where, like, somebody like a famous rapper would randomly show up and like come out of his car with like fully loaded automatic weapons and stuff, and like handing them out to like random like people and stuff, and be like, if you see a cop, shoot them. Like, just like stuff that's really bold and, like, you know, like might be the push that like might have been needed, but it was like being there at ground zero and like looking at it happen, like looking at a person with an abundance of, you know, like heavy duty firepower, handing it out to untrained people who are like zealous to be here for a cause, was like scary. Like, and there were at least 1 or 2 active shooter situations during the protests, like when it was transitioning into the Chaz like part of it, and that was pretty crazy too. Like, a guy like he like drove into the crowd with his like silver car, and he came out and he had his clip and his like gun, his like magazine was like, it had blue tape around it, and it had another magazine taped to it, so that like he was going to unload on the crowd and then eject, flip it around, put it back in, and like continue. But when he got out of his car and tried to fire that first shot, it didn't come out, and people tackled him and like took his shit away. But it was really scary. Like, And there was another part where like me and my partner at the time were like trying to get from one block to another that was like a couple streets away, and like this guy was like, oh yeah, like hang on to the back of my like SUV or whatever, like we'll go down the street, like it's cool. And then we like hung on to like the roof rack and like stood on top of the back bumper or whatever, like driving down it. And then like we got to the intersection, this other dude pulls out in front of this guy, like right in the middle of the intersection, which is totally like nobody gives a like, or nobody can do anything about it because we've had this like 6-block radius locked down with like these checkpoints. Like it just like parks in the middle of the intersection in front of this dude, gets out of his car, and he's like, I thought I fucking told you never come to this fucking neighborhood ever again. Don't let me see your fucking face around here anymore. Like, get the fuck out of here, motherfucker. And like me and my partner like hopped off the back of the car, just like booked it. Like, and this to just leave this dude to like play out his beef with like whatever like dudes were stalking him at this intersection. Like, and like that was fucking scary. And like there was a lot of like really cool stuff though. There's a lot of like, there was an intense focus on visual aid. Everybody was trying to give everything they didn't absolutely need to whoever needed it the most. It was really beautiful in that regard. Like there were like tents set up there for like free psychiatric services, like by, I guess, like, you know, psychiatrists and therapists who were like there protesting and stuff. And there were a lot of people living at, or like at the very least, like staying at Cal Anderson Park, like in tents and stuff, like just trying to occupy it and like show that we're serious. And like they did raid after raid and flushed everyone out of the park. And yeah, eventually it just became too much tear gas and too much standing on pavement from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and like because that was me and my like closest friends at the time were doing night shift on the border checkpoint. Like we would show up and we'd have our goggles on, like lab goggles in case like any gas or like pepper spray came around or whatever, and we would just sit at the entry points, like the streets where you could get into this area, and we would have these like blockades set up. And like if somebody wanted to come in, we would have to ask them like, what's your interest in like entering this area? Like, are you a journalist? Like, are you here to fuck shit up? Like, are you here to like, you know, are you here to like, we would have to vet these things. And like this whole time there would be people driving around the perimeter consistently with like big American flags like flowing off the back of their car, or like rebel flags or whatever, and they'd have tripods with cameras like in their passenger seat. They just drive by recording us, and they just go over and over, just like waiting for, I don't know, something to happen. But it was a beautiful idea. It turned into a shit show. It didn't change a whole lot. And I think my time for that sort of thing is over. I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad I got to have that experience, but I am very okay with just committing myself to creative work for the rest of my life.
When you're so front lines with activism, especially during like the Chaz, like that shit, like it really, I don't know, maybe traumatic is a bit of a big word, but like, I mean,
it definitely
active shooter shit, like
it's
very,
I'm not the same as I was, for sure.
It's very like, I don't blame anyone who was doing activism from any point of like the beginning of Black Lives Matter till now, right now, you know. Like,
it was hard too, because like when I came home, it's like my little sister was like trying to relate to me. Like she was like, oh, we had a protest in Augusta and like 30 people showed up, and like we all like laid on the floor because like we were telling them that like we're upset, like, and like I protested too, and I like, and to be like, yes, you did, but like this is different. Central Maine, like where none of these issues directly affect more than 5% of the population. Like nothing happened. You did that with your friend for the day, and then you went home, and like I can't properly express to you that I feel like I've like fought in like a war.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's been tough to like convey that to my family.
It's a whole different layer of activism.
Yeah, it's like, and
Yeah.
they've never spent any amount of time in like a urban place.
Right.
So they just cannot wrap their head around anything like that. Like,
where did you find Garfield Bull, narrated at the end of Problem Paradise by Shakespeare and Hemingway?
Garfield's Bull, I believe, was read aloud by one of my Tumblr mutuals at that time. I can't remember their name specifically, but I know back then they were like an AMAB MB and like very funny and like keen on my stuff. And and I think it was one of those times where I was like, please send me samples. I think that they sent me that
An
big long
recording.
that
That's
really
so
long
funny.
MP3, and I like couldn't keep my shit together the whole time I was listening to it, and I was like, I have to put this out. Like, I didn't have any part in making it, but I need people to hear it.
That's awesome. Was there ever a live set or a live stream set that you remember more fondly than others?
I think, well, it's funny because the one that stands out the most to me in my mind is the one that the least people came to. It was right after I got called out.
Which one was that?
I was in Seattle, and there's no archive of it on like the internet. Like, nobody was there to record it. Like, 3 people showed up. But it was like right after I got called out, I made this stupid giant 10-page document explaining why like the things that like I feel are okay are like okay, because like that's what you do when like you're young and like people are persecuting you. You're like, I have to justify this, but like I wouldn't do that at this age because like I don't feel like I owe that to anybody. Like, but like back then I wrote this whole big justification of like why like my kinks are okay or whatever, and like it happened at I did it at such an inopportune time. Like, well, can you read the question one more time?
Was there ever a live set or a live stream
yes.
set? Yeah.
I did it at such an inopportune time, right before I was supposed to go to a big con and like play a DJ set. They like unbooked me because I became too controversial like right before, which was like pretty hard on me. But like I played this live show in the meantime that I was like booked for pre-call out at a place called Black Lodge in Seattle, and I showed up and I played my set there, and like 3 trans girls showed up, and like that's it, like nobody else. And I played the show and they danced the whole time, all 3 of them. And like when the show is done, this is actually like one of this story has layers. So many weird things happen because like the show was over. I came up to these 3 girls and I was like, thank you so much for humoring me. It's amazing that you like, came here and stayed here for this, even though like this is I shouldn't have even come here tonight. Like, and like they were so nice to me, and like one of them was so incredibly kind. And like I mentioned, I was like working on this, like I did all my work on like this old laptop that I always had with like standard Apple earbuds, you know, and she was like appalled, like, and gave me like this 5-year-old like desktop computer that she had. She was like, you need this, like, and I was like, oh my god, like a desktop computer, like it's amazing, like. And that was awesome. I made a bunch of albums on that computer between 2018 and 2022, and but I always remember that concert because leaving it was such a weird situation, because I had just rolled on Molly a couple days prior, and then I came to the show and I was in such a fucked up, like sad situation with all my controversy. So I was really willing to take whatever was handed to me at that time. And even though I had rolled a couple days before, I like when I left the venue, I was all sweaty and like, because I played I like danced my shit out, like, because I can't play a show and like even if 2 people are there, like I can't just like not get into it. It's like I have to just like I have to do it because like I have like a compulsion to be a performer when it's time to be a performer, and then every other time I'm dreading it. But like I left the show, I played the show, I thanked these girls, I left the show with these girls, and I turned to my right. And on the sidewalk, there is a young boy who he looks like he could be anywhere between the ages of 16 and 22. And he is sprawled entirely on the sidewalk, like legs out, sweating bullets with the biggest smile on his face, and his pupils are this big. And he has like these 3 like older girls around him who are all like laughing because he's so high. They're like, oh my god, haha, like, oh, he's so fucked up, like, haha, like, do you need any like water? Like they were taking care of him, but they were also like, haha, like playing with him like a little doll, you know? And that obviously intrigued me. I was like, what's going on over here? Like, what's up with you? Like, and like he like was like shaking and like looked at me and like handed me this pill bottle with like his shaky ass hand, and I like took it from him. I was like, wow, thank you, what is this? And he was like, MDA. And I was like, wow, MDA, well, thank you. That's so nice of you to share this with me. I'm only going to take one. I'm going to give the rest of the bottle back to you. But thank you. That's like really sweet. And like, and he was like, yeah, and like was pleased with himself for having had that sharing experience. And then I immediately took it like unthinking. Like I completely forgot that I had rolled a couple days before, which is like not advisable. You should not take MDMA or MDA or any of those chemicals that release a bunch of serotonin. Like you should not take those more than once every few months. But you know, I didn't know that at the time, and I was also in such a weird situation. So I took it, and like as it was kicking in, I was like going back into the venue, and that girl who ended up becoming my friend and giving me that computer and stuff was like, oh, that kid is 14. Like, and I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, I know this kid because we used to play Destiny 2. We like played Destiny 2 online together. Like that's how he ended up coming to the show, but he did not tell me how old he was until he got here. And he is so high, and he is out on the sidewalk, and you just took a pill that he gave you. And I was like, let's go home. Like, and yeah, that was insane.
That's so crazy. Oh my god.
Where does a 14-year-old get
a whole bottle?
I don't know. I just don't know.
Holy
like
fuck.
it's Seattle's nuts.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, I'm an idiot. Well, whatever. Will you ever do more Pokemon tournament streams?
I would really like to. I think streaming is really only a thing that I'm able to do in like the winter time. I think my room gets too warm, and like everything in my bedroom comes out, like all the electricity in my bedroom comes out of one outlet, because the other outlet is broken. Some sort of mouse chewed through the wires or something. Like, so one outlet just doesn't work, and I only have one outlet that I have 2 big power strips hooked up to and like running everything through it. So I can't actually run like heavy applications on my computer at the same time that I have my air conditioner on. So like during the summer, like streaming is a lot harder, and also because I have to have headphones on, and I have to have like a sticky ass on my seat like while I'm streaming. So like I think that when the weather gets colder, like more toward October, November, I'm probably a lot more likely to stream again. But in the meantime, I think the summer is going to be a lot more about game dev for me.
Mm-hmm. If you could go back in time 10 years and give yourself advice, what would you say?
Well, okay, let me think about 10 years ago was 2016.
Yes.
I was bawling in 2016. I wouldn't give myself any advice. I had 2 girlfriends.
Okay, you were doing good.
That was the only time in my life I've ever had 2 girlfriends, and like they were both awesome. Like one of them was like a Mensa level genius at chemistry, and the other one was like just a weird internet sick little BDSM weirdo. And like they were like my 2 favorite people. It was awesome. And I was making shitloads of music every day in 2016. So honestly, I wouldn't say anything to myself 10 years ago, except for I would say like maybe like don't get involved with like that one person on campus who has like an alter who wants to kill you. Like, like outside of that, I wouldn't give myself any advice. But I wouldn't have been able to tell that back then. You know, it's like getting to know somebody. You don't learn they have an alter who wants to kill you until you really get to know them. You know, like.
Do you have any advice for anyone who wants to get into game development or comics or music, but is struggling to find their footing?
Like, I hate like being the person to say something along these lines, but like it really truly comes down to like there truly ain't nothing to it but to do it. Like, it doesn't stop worrying about if your thing is going to be good. Start worrying about if your thing is going to be finished, or like even if it can't be finished, if it can be brought to some state of shareability, like your effort will be rewarded. Because no matter how fucked up or stupid or shitty the thing you make is, it's going to be at least one other person's favorite thing ever, no matter what it is. Like, all that's important is that you create it and you put it in front of people. And if you are able to get that far, you are gold. Like, don't worry about whether or not it's good. Don't hold yourself to any sort of standard. You don't even need to take the time to learn how to work in the medium. Like, it's like so many people default to like, they're like, I want to make something. And then they Google or YouTube, like, how to make something. It's like, don't do that. Like, just do it. Like, think about, like, if you like drawing, it's like, okay, what's required for drawing? Like, I don't know, like a tablet and a pen. It's like, okay, let's go from there. Like, if you want the thing that you make to stand out, if you want the thing that you make to have as much of yourself in it as possible, if you want the thing that you make to have that element of, you know, you in it, don't learn from someone else how to do it. Find the tools, play with them until something happens, and just figure out what you like to do with them and continue doing that. Like, there's no better way to like make your shit less interesting than to like learn how to do it the exact way someone else does it. Like, I cannot condone looking up like videos on like how to produce music. I can 100% condone getting the first music making software that you have access to and just becoming obsessed with playing with it. Like, even if the thing you make sounds like a fart, like, it's your fart. You made it. Like, you put something on top, you put a break on top of that fart that makes it sound different than anything that anybody else has ever been capable of. And the reason for that is because you didn't let somebody else tell you how to do it. Like, and that's always been my philosophy with things, and that's why everything I ever make is like wrong and good at the same time.
That's actually really good advice, just because, like, I don't know, I felt like I was putting off music so bad just because FL intimidates me so bad. Even when I'm just like not even looking at tutorials, I'm like, fuck, I don't know what this is. I don't know what piano roll is. But with DJing, I did not fucking look shit up. I bought a mini deck, like the one that Laura Les uses in the Boiler Room set. I have that same, so I started with.
That's sick.
And I was just like, yeah, whatever, fuck with Serato Light, whatever. And I did not look up music theory. I did not do nothing. I just started throwing the spaghetti noodles at the wall.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And now I just do shit. And
if it works, then it works. It's like, if you click with that kind of thing, then like absolutely like chase it. Cause like I'm the opposite, where like I fucking hate DJing. Like, I can't stand it. Like, when I first came to Seattle and like these ravers invited me to this little ice cream store where like 40 people could fit in, but like 100 people showed up, like, and my little stupid little Mainer like ass was like, what's going on? Like, was so like, what were we talking about?
DJing?
Yes, DJing. Like, I plugged my laptop into an aux cord and just played the set, right? But every DJ that came before me used decks. And like every DJ ever that was around me from that point used decks. So I was like, I have to learn how to use decks. Like, I have to use DJ decks to like be a DJ and like play shows. And like, if you've ever watched like a live set of mine on YouTube, there's almost always guaranteed to be a part somewhere in the middle where I fuck up drastically. The music stops. I shout, fuck. And then like I have to do some shit, and then the show like continues. Like, and I never grew out of that. Like, no matter how many shows I played, I never got like better at that. And I didn't have like, I was like, I know how to produce music. I don't know how to like mix music live. And like I don't enjoy mixing music live. Like so like if DJing works for you, like absolutely like do that shit, because it's really fun when it works. It's like a DJ deck is it's just a mashup machine. It's awesome. Like
I've always loved like Steve Gunner or fucking even outside of like stupid video game mashup bullshit. When I remember being like 13 and Melanie Martinez Marina of the Diamonds mashups. I used to look that shit up on YouTube and be like, this is baller.
Yo, Mel Mar goes crazy.
The Tumblr queen.
She actually like no shit like inspired the hell out of me when she first got like hella called out and then disappeared for like 3 years, but then came back with like a full-length album and feature film out of nowhere. I was like, like she like, this is like, I'm following this model. Like this is how I'll recover like from my like.
You're gonna do that, but with the game.
Well, I mean, like I didn't disappear.
Yeah,
like I could have disappeared. Maybe I should have disappeared, but I had rent to pay back before, you know, when I was living in Seattle, so I couldn't disappear. I could disappear now if I wanted to, but I think I would undisappear the moment that I started like making a little less money from like Spotify every month, right? I'd be like, oh no, I'm not relevant anymore. I have to remind people I'm doing stuff. Like, yeah.
Alice's puppy pointed out that your tank top in the Who is Forlong video says Sam Carter fucked my wife.
Yeah.
She wants to know who that is and what your relation to them is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing her at some point.
She came up to me and
you found her.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I have to give her her bracelet that I made.
I'm sure she'll be very eager to like join my party at some point in this con. She like came out all the way from California. Like
when she told me, I was like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
She's a good kid. She's very enthusiastic.
She's sweet.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't go all the way to the other coast for a con, so like I'm impressed. But anyway, yeah, like what was a longer question? Sam Carter. Yeah, that was one of my two girlfriends. That was my that was my nerdy submissive BDSM girlfriend. But she also just happened to be like absolutely god mode at making music, and like when I started dating her in like 2016. She taught me a lot about producing music, even though we use totally different software. She always used Mixcraft, which Mixcraft is not a program a lot of people use, but she's really good at using it and taught me a lot of stuff. And I'd be bugging her constantly when we were dating. I'd be like, send me stems. I want to remix this song you did. Like, send me stems. And she'd be like, like she never wanted to send me stems, and she finally did. Eventually, I got some stems out of her, and it was for Boomerangs. Which is a song that's on the first ever Sounds from the Cloud compilation. Boomerangs, Sam Carter, Sultry Lesbian remix. Managed to put out with it, but she was always so like clutching her. Like she was like, I think, embarrassed about her output or embarrassed about any sort of attention like that she could get publicly. Like she was so talented, and she would keep starting these little enterprises that would gain attention, and then she would like run away and hide, like without even getting called out or anything. Just she knew people would like figure out she's like a little gimp leather fag weirdo, like, and she would like just wasn't ready for that. But I love her to death. She's out in Seattle now. Like she lived in Connecticut. I moved to Seattle. Then I helped her move out to Seattle when I had an extra room in my apartment. And then I moved back to Maine, and she's still there with her awesome new girlfriend, who I also love very much. But yeah.
Gwen asked who the furry artist whose couch you surfed on when you first moved to Seattle was.
Oh yeah, that's Squeege. Squeege. I don't actually know if it's okay for me to like say.
So you block it out.
That like I don't know. I mean, like, how many people are really willing to like, I don't know. I don't think anybody's gonna like
hunt her down for it.
I don't think Squeege is like social media presence is that huge anymore either. I think Squeege mostly only like takes commissions and stuff on social media. I think Scug is old enough to understand that like being on social media all the time isn't healthy. Like I don't know, like Squeege taught me a lot about being self-aware about that kind of stuff. And so, but I've always, you know, like it's been like eight years since I was on Scug's couch. So like that's 2 years behind the statute of limitations. I don't know if it'll cause a big deal or anything, but like, I don't know, Scug, if people bother you, I'm really sorry, but I really hope they don't.
If it's any consolidation, we've been recording for 2 hours, so we're probably gonna have like an hour
yeah.
and 30 before they get to that part.
No, yeah, it's if you make it through that, then like you're obsessed.
You're obsessed. You're a freak for real.
For real, yeah. So yeah, whatever.
Frozen Bunny says, "Greetings, Forlong. The old ball and chain really likes your music, and she's asking me to add some of your songs to our love playlist. Which tracks would you recommend?"
Well, how much love is in your love playlist if you're just calling your partner
old ball and
chain? Songs to put in it? I don't. Let me like. Do I like music? Let's try to remember if I do. In your love playlist, I don't know, like I don't listen to that many like love songs, I guess. Like I mostly listen to like instrumental stuff because I can't function when like English speech is happening. It's like I have to give my undivided attention to like interpreting the words and what they mean and shit. And like, so if I'm trying to exist like ambiently, it's like I'm going to listen to instrumental music. I think for your love playlist, you should add New Space Music by Brian Eno. And it's like an hour long, just like warm drone.
Let's add Gregorian chants.
Yeah,
to your
you
love
guys,
playlist.
you and the old ball and chain can definitely get really pregnant to that. Or whatever it is you do.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We out here getting really pregnant.
Yeah.
The ending questions. Is there anything you want to say to your fans?
Is there anything I want to say to them? I mean, like, what do I want to say?
Hi.
I want to say like, what's up?
What?
I want to say, like, what the fuck's good, Bob? I'm like, what the fuck's going on, dude? Something like that, probably.
Awesome. Is there anything you want to plug?
Please play my game when it comes out. I literally don't care about anything anybody else ever does. But when my game comes out, please play it, and I will feel as though my life has served a purpose once again. Thank you.
Is there any way people can support you or Lungverse while you're making the game?
They can go to Patreon, but I don't do anything there. You can sign up for my Patreon if you really just want to give me money and don't expect me to do anything new in return. There's some content built into my Patreon. Like there's like scans of like my old journal and stuff that have like a bunch of old drawings and like crazy scrawlings of like me on drugs, like writing just like shit I was feeling and experiencing and whatever, and like a bunch of stickers and drawings and stuff in there, like of just sketchbooks I've had throughout the years. There's a couple of those on Patreon and stuff, and that's kind of interesting. But like, if you do subscribe, I'm not going to post any like new shit there probably not. Like, I don't know, I don't care very much about it. But the best way to support me is to join the Bandcamp Money Club. For $3 a month, you can get like more than 50 of my old albums that I don't think are that good anymore, but a lot of people still really like. And it's all in there because all of my like stuff that has like copyright protected samples is like in my like behind like walls, because all of my publicly available stuff is the stuff I won't get sued for. So, you know, if you want to sell me out to Warner Brothers Records or whatever, like, and tell them that like my my sample heavy stuff is behind a paywall, like go ahead. But I mean, but if you don't want to do that and instead you just want to support me, then like please sign up for the Money Club.
Hell yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for the interview. This was so freaking lovely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
I'm stoked. I think I'm gonna try to figure out some sort of location for Forlong adjacent people to assemble, and hopefully all be above the age of 18. And then from there, I don't know what we'll do. Probably like drugs.
Yeah, the frolic. I have some Michigan weed and flowers.
Michigan weed.
Yeah,
Wow.
Michigan weed as well.
I have like stupidly strong like Delta 8 edibles. Like, are you laughing because I didn't say retarded?
Yeah, I do have edibles.
After the interview, I chatted with Hushy and her friend Evan, who she had attended the con with for a bit. She signed my CD, which was fucking awesome. I'll put a picture here in post. And we said our goodbyes. On Saturday, I attended RAWRDCORD 2026, which was the RAWRDCORD room party, and it was pretty bumpin'. Everyone was incredibly kind and respectful, and if I'm being honest, it was one of the first times I felt like I could like mingle at a party without feeling anxious that I was absolutely ruining the vibe by being too much or too little or too RAWRD-tarded, if you will. LOL. It was really awesome to meet everyone there, even if we only just exchanged a couple words or even just a brief hello. Vacation Land was surreal. It was my first con out of state, my first long road trip, my first room party, my first fursuit parade, my first interview, and it was with Forlong. That's fucking crazy. I've idolized her for like about a decade at this point, and I feel like the luckiest puppy on planet Earth. Hushy has gotten the shit end of the stick from a large handful of the internet for a while now, but I can't underestimate how much her and her music, her art, her characters, her stories, and the community that has stuck around with her has helped me these last few years. Her music and her artwork and her general ability to get back up off the ground once she is knocked down is nothing short of incredible to me. So I guess I want to end this by saying thank you, Hushy. Thank you for creating this incredible community surrounding your artwork and your personality. I have made lifelong connections through your music and your comics. Thank you endlessly for encouraging me and others to pursue things like music and game development and other creative endeavors. Thank you for being you. By the way, I named my ferret after you, and I'm gonna put a picture of here right now. Okay, bye! Thank you so much for watching to the end. Thank you to Ammonyaa for drawing the talksprite assets. Thank you to the RAWRDCORD Discord servers for helping me with the last few questions. And of course, thank you, a huge thank you to Hushy for giving me the time to do this in the first place. It seriously was my dream to meet you, and in some capacity, just being a fan for so long, it's just so surreal. Really quick, now that it's the end of the video, I am just gonna plug that I will be playing at Nocturnal again this year. Nocturnal is a furry music festival that is happening on July 17th through the 19th in Carsonville, Michigan. Come one, come all, and shake your tails to another terminally online furry cringe-filled set. It's gonna be great. I'm playing. I have a good set that I'm working on. Every day I chisel at it like a marble statue. I'm really, really excited to play again for you all, and I really, really hope that you guys come out if you are able to. I would really appreciate it. I love seeing people. I love when people come to my sets. It really, truly means the world to me. When I played at Necto recently, it was like it was like the best fucking thing ever. So, you know, this shit really fuels me, keeps me going. So, you know, yeah. That's all. Bye, 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 bye.